Morning, boys, and we're back with another one. Ruh-roh, who's that? That looks like a very familiar face. Actually, we just worked on this girl yesterday, and it looks like somebody's been up under her dress. That's for sure. I told you guys that I was probably gonna get called back to this old girl right here because she did not want to cooperate, and she had a locking off button. So for those of you who don't know, this is the on switch and this is off switch. On off, but the off switch is a keyed off. So once you turn it off, you need a key to unlock the off, and then you can actually start it again. For whatever reason, I don't know. Like I said, Team Booger Eater wanted this thing installed, so we delivered, and we actually had one opportunity to start the unit up and verify operation, but now Team Booger Eater called us back so that we can get her working and get her functional, or see what we can do to actually make that happen. So I kind of already knew the status that was going on with this girl, and we're gonna go ahead and take care of that today, and I'll show you everything we're gonna use to get that job done. Alright, boys, we're back, and we got a little food group here of tools that we're gonna use to get this e-stop out and this e-stop in. So basically I got my 11-in-1 because this will do most jobs, and I have my Team Milwaukee fuel impact driver. I got my Team Milwaukee flashlight just in case we need a little lantern, and I have just some random bits, and as soon as we get everything running and functioning, I will be taking a current reading because this girl, she demands a lot. She's inexpensive. She's a high maintenance girl, and she's asking for 18 amps. 18 amps on a 20 amp circuit. That's like 80% of your check, boys. 80% of your check. She's high maintenance. She wants all her nails done, feet and fingers. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this started. So the first way we're going to go ahead and do this is, so the other day I actually opened this panel, which is the back facing panel, and that just gives you access to this portion, which is the rear portion, but I didn't bother opening the front panel. So we have two panels. So this is actual panel right here, 1 screw, 2, 3, 4 screws, 5, 6. You can actually take this front plate off, and then you'll have access to the e-stop locking mechanism. So I'm gonna go ahead and yank that bad boy off real quick, and we will see what we see. There we go, one bad boy. Yep. So let's see what we see in here. She's heavy. You know why? Because she's full of components. I just want to make sure that we don't ruin any wires. There we go, boys. Alright, so this is a really simple one. She only has one little contact block, which is a normally close, and a normally close is usually well, pretty much always what you're going to use for an e-stop circuit. So we'll go ahead and get that girl out of there. Yeah, so I was going about my day, not even worried about it, and then I got the call. Ruh-roh, who's that? Ruh-roh, who's that? That's the boss? What does he want? He said, you want to head over back to that other building down the way? They say they have an issue. And I say, let me guess, they can't start it. They say, yeah, you got the key? I said no, and I never had the key. I don't know how I got responsible for supposedly having the key to this thing. I've never seen this girl in my life. How am I supposed to have any, you know? So, you know, these booger eaters, they want something done, but they don't even know what they're asking for, which is fine. It's all money. It's all money for me. Yeah, so they had no idea where the key went, and they somehow got the impression that I had it. I didn't get the key. I've never seen this thing in my life. So that's kind of just a little funny story. But here we are. So after a little bit of back and forth, you know, the boss is like, yeah, well, they can't start it, and you know, they just need to we need to head back out there and just go ahead and take care of them and get them running any way possible. And I said, all right, let me grab an e-stop circuit, push button with a contact block, and I think it's 22 millimeter. This is 22 millimeter. I'll head back out there and I'll get them going. That wasn't the original agreement, so whatever. So basically, after all those tears, we're out here. Here we are, boys. We're gonna make another paycheck off of the same piece of equipment, and this is actually going to be a very simple job. So as you guys can see, I got this old e-stop setup out. Basically on this one you could just loosen this screw and it unlocks the fastener, loosens it up a little bit, and then right here is a little tab. Boys, don't forget about the little tab. It doesn't come out with unless you loosen up this little tab. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and put this bad boy in there. No key. Here's the difference, fellas. The difference right there. Virtually the same setup, and the only difference is this one does not ask for a key. Let me see. She don't want to go in, boys. Why not? Oh, do I have to unlock her? I think I gotta unlock her, fellas. Alright, so here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and hold this unlock latch up while I insert her like so, and there she is. Okay, so that's the trick. That is the trick, fellas. I was getting it wrong. Okay, so let me hold that up in the unlock position, and we will go ahead and there she is, fellas. There she is. I'm just wondering if she will go. No, that is it. So now that she's fastened in there, I'll start to apply a little bit of pressure on this on the screw here, and that should lock her in, boys. Lock her in. She's never had it so good. That's nice and fastened in, and then we will go ahead and get our wiring. You know what? I'm gonna let them have that second contact block. That is fine with me. So I'm gonna use the smaller bit on my 11-in-1, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull this contact block out. It just has a little lever right there. It's got a little lever action, and the contact block will get out so I can put in our terminal. And once I got that terminal locked in, let's go ahead and I'll put the pressure on her. Boy, I put the pressure on her. Got that in there, and then we'll go ahead and get that nice and tight. You know what? Just because they called me back, I'm gonna take that one too. And then we'll get this other one right here in there, nice and tight, and then we'll go ahead and tighten up that terminal, get her all settled in and comfortable. Oh yeah, nice and tight. No torque rating today, fellas. No torque rating today. I'm sorry. Alright, so we get her. Boom, there she is. She is in. So now we will get this big old heavy girl back in, and I will get just a couple screws in there just to hold her in place for the moment while we test operation. Because boys, I want to make sure she does what she's supposed to do, because I already got one callback out here which had absolutely nothing to do with me or what I was assigned to do, and we will test this bad boy out because I don't want another callback. Alright, here we go. 3AP27 plugged in. Let me make sure the business end of this girl is nice and free, because that blade is vicious. We'll go ahead and pull that e-stop out, and no power. There we go. There she is, boys. There she is. So I don't believe this is, I would prefer not, whatever. So this thing is how it is. This has the e-stop. So there's the e-stop, and they're actually operating, utilizing the e-stop as an off switch. So there we go. So she's operational, but that's not good enough, fellas. Let's go ahead and see how much she's asking for, because I know she's asking for a lot. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an amp check now and see how much of a load she's demanding, and I'm going to do it behind this plate, because if I try to do it behind this plate, I really can't get in there, and there's a lot of questions about getting shocked or not. I've already had my coffee for the morning, so I don't need another jolt. So I'm just gonna pull these same two screws out, a couple of familiar faces, and we'll get this front plate off, control panel plate off. Yeah, we gotta be real careful, because like I said, boys, I gotta make sure there's no loose wire. That ground, well, that ground took a beating. That ground wire took a beating. But so as long as we could just take a real quick amp check, I'll be comfortable with that. So let's see what we got here. That is for that. Okay, now there it is. So that is the supply. So here is the 2 incoming wires right here. Okay, so this is the black wire that we're gonna take a little current reading off of. So let's do that. Let me plug this old girl back in and we'll get some juice running through her veins, and we will pop my clamp meter on there. So we're gonna go ahead and set this bad boy to amps AC, not DC. Alright, so let's go ahead and put these jaws on them. Put the jaws on them. There you go. And we'll start this bad girl. Here we go. Woo! So she's operational at 16 amps, fellas. 16.6 amps. So we'll just call it 17 amps. But she says full load would be 18 amps. So full load would be 18 amps at 1.5 horsepower. So anyways, either way, fellas, she's operating at 16. We're on a 20 amp breaker. Let's hope nobody else plugs anything else into this girl, into this outlet, because this thing will go to sleep ASAP, and then everybody will be staring at each other wondering what the hell happened. And then if I have to get called back to reset a breaker and tell them, hey, you guys need to raise up the amp size of that breaker and, you know, run new wire and all, etc., etc., I'd be more than happy to do it for you. It's just more work for me, boys, more work for me. So I will see you fellas on the next one. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and while you're there in the area, hit that like for me, boys. I will see y'all later, and I want everybody to be safe out there and have a good one. I will see you on the next one, boys. Later.